Hi everyone, I'm going to do a series of 4 videos on 5A, 5B, 5C and 5D. So the first two, 5A and 5B, should just be revision from Head Start, so expanding, quadratics and factorising. Expanding is only in 5, we're only going to see it in 5A, but the factorising we're going to start off quite simple and then it does get quite tricky. So it's very important that you do all the questions that I've set, even though I won't be going through every single question. I'll do a few from each and then you can listen and copy at the same time, but I encourage you to do the other questions as well, just for a bit of practice. Okay, so let's get started with 5. Just need to turn the light on, it's pretty dark in my room. 5A. All right, so with expanding, and let me just write this down, we do have to expand both brackets. So when you were taught this during Head Start, we would have used FOIL. So first, outside, inside, last. Okay, so drawing these arrows or these lines just reminds you not to forget anything, because when we're expanding, sometimes students rush and they forget something. So just drawing those lines probably take you 10 seconds to do, and it's just a quick reminder not to miss anything. All right, so what this basically means is we multiply the first term, so the x times x, and then we do the outside term, so x times 8, and then the middle terms or the inside terms, 2 times x, and then the last term, so 2 times 8. Now it doesn't actually matter the order, all right, but it's probably good just to do it in this order, and everyone does it in this order, is because our middle terms do usually become like terms. So let's just simplify this a little bit more. Okay, so you can see now your two middle terms are like terms, so like terms have the same pronumeral part. All right, and that's your expanded version of that quadratic. All right, so let's do one with some negatives. So I'm going to do h, x minus 4, x minus 6. All right, so the same thing, first, outside, inside, last. So x times negative 6, oh sorry, what am I doing? X times x is x squared, x times negative 6 is negative 6x, negative 4 times x is negative 4x, and then we've got a negative times a negative, so it's going to be positive 24. So just be careful with your negatives. Then we've got x squared, negative 6 minus 4 is negative 10x plus 24. Just be careful with your negatives. Okay, by year 10 you should know how to deal with negative numbers, but just taking if you are still having a bit of trouble with your negatives, just pause and think about it before you start answering. Okay, so usually when I start teaching negative numbers to year 7 and year 8s, so we'll think of it in terms of money or in terms of temperature. So if it's negative 6 degrees outside and then it got colder by decreased by another 4 degrees, it's going to be negative 10. It's going to get colder. Or you bought something shopping for $6 and then you bought something for another $4. So minus 6 in your bank account and then minus 4 in your bank account. So all up, you're minus 10. Okay, so just if you're having a bit of trouble with your negatives, just take a little bit more time just to make sure you get it right. All right, let's move on to question 5. All right, so we've got x plus 5 squared. So this is actually the same as x plus 5 times x plus 5. All right, we're just squaring that bracket. So when you square anything, you're just multiplying it by itself. All right, so you can do first outside, inside, last. So we're going to have x squared plus 5x plus 5x plus 25. So just tidying that up. Now, what we've got here is a perfect square. So when you've got something like this, you can actually just go and use this rule. So if we had a plus b squared, that is equal to a squared plus 2 times a times b plus 5 squared. So let's have a look at a different question and we'll apply that to it. Let's do D. So x minus 3 squared. So in this question, this is kind of like your A and negative 3 is your B. Now, eventually you'll be expanding in your head, all right? So you'll always know to add these two middle terms and you'd go straight to the 10x. So when you've got a perfect square like this one here, it's just 2 times a times b. So first of all, a squared, so in this case, a is equal to x and b is equal to negative 3. So if we're applying this rule here, we're going to have x squared plus 2 times a times b, so plus 2 times x times negative 3 plus negative 3 squared. And I just wrote 5 for some reason. That's so funny. It should be a b. Let's just fix that up. I think it's because I was looking at the example. Alright, so we've got x squared. 2 times negative 3 is negative 6x. And then negative 3 squared gives you 9. Alright, so it's just I guess a little bit of a shortcut. So you can do FOIL, okay, but you do need to know that relationship because when we do factorizing, you do need to know this rule that I've put in a little cloud on the right side. Alright, what we also have is difference of perfect squares. So let's have a look at G. So we've got x plus 4, x minus 4. Now notice in this one, inside our brackets, we've got the same things that just separated. One's a plus and one's a minus sign. Alright, so when you've got this situation, you can just do difference of perfect squares. So on the side, I'm going to write that. So when you've got a plus b times a minus b, that's just going to become a squared minus b squared. So I'll show you in a second. I probably should have shown you an example first. So let's use FOIL because FOIL will work for anything. Alright, so x times x is x squared. Then we've got minus 4x plus 4x minus 4 times 4, which is 16. Now you'll notice here in the middle, negative 4x plus 4x, they actually cancel each other out, and we're just left with x squared minus 16. So in this one, in this question, I could have said from the very beginning, a is equal to x and b is equal to 4. So that means I'm going to have x squared minus 4 squared, which is x squared minus 16. Alright, let's do another one. Which question am I doing? Still 5. Alright, let's do 5k. Alright, so this is still the difference of perfect squares. So we've still got the same terms inside the brackets. They're just one separated by a plus sign and the other one separated by a negative sign. And it doesn't matter that they're around the other way, because before we did a plus and then a minus. So just identifying A and B. Alright, so A is your first term, so 4x, and B You can do -5 or 5 because we're going to square it and you're going to get a positive number. Or anyway, sorry, I was just thinking. So a squared minus b squared. So we're going to square the 4. Just make sure you put the 4x in brackets so you don't forget to square the 4 as well. So we're going to have 16x squared minus 25. All right, and you can go ahead and do FOIL to prove that it works, but you do need to know the difference of perfect squares when we do factorising. So don't always do FOIL, otherwise you're going to skip that key link with difference of perfect squares. All right, moving along. So question 6. So very similar, let's do one of these. Only difference is we've got a coefficient of x. All right, so again, just using FOIL. So 2x times 3x is 6x squared. 2x times 5 is 10x. 1 times 3x is 3x, and 1 times 5 is 5. So we're going to end up with 6x squared plus 13x plus 5. All right, same method. All right, moving on to question 7. So I quite like these questions because in question 7, because it makes you, or forces you to think about, well, what is actually happening here? Alright, so I'm going to just use FOIL anyway. So we're going to have x squared, x times x, 2x, and then we've got the question marks times x, and then question mark times 2. So this part in the middle, these two terms here, have to give you 5x. And question mark times 2 has to give you 6. So you could probably say, all right, what do I multiply by 2 to get 6? Oh, it's going to be 3. So your question mark is going to equal 3 in that case. Let's have a look at the blue section. So 2x plus something x equals 5x. Well, something times x, sorry. So your question mark in this case is also equal to 3. Obviously it's going to be the same, has to be the same thing, it's just not coincidental. So if you wanted to check, let's just do it. Alright, so we've got x squared plus 5x plus 6. Alright, and that's what we wanted to get up here. Alright, moving on to question 8. Alright, I'm going to start with D. Actually, I'm going to do, I'll do it. Alright, so we've got 2x plus 3, x plus 4. Actually, I'm going to compare this one to P. I'm going to put P here as well. And it really annoys me that I wrote that previous question in black. I like to be consistent. Oh well. Okay, so just be careful when you've got a number out the front multiplying, because you can multiply this 2 in like so. Alright, that 2 can multiply in that bracket, but it can't multiply both brackets. So you can do 2x plus 6 times x plus 4. Alright, and then do your FOIL. Alright, so we'll just quickly do that. 2x times x is 2x squared. 2x times 4 is 8x plus 6x plus 24. Let's just tidy it up. Plus 14x plus 24. So you could multiply the 2 in first, or you can leave the 2 and then just expand that bracket. So it's going to have x squared plus 7x plus 12, and then multiply the 2 by those 3 terms. Alright, so you can see the 2 only goes into one bracket. Now in P, you can't do this, okay, because that is not equal to 2x plus 6, 2x plus 6. all right? Because you're basically saying, all right, I'm going to put that 2 in, and then I'm multiplying it, all right? It's not the same thing. So when you think about, I was going to say BODMAS, but it always is brackets. So, you know, your powers you have to do first. So in this case, you'd keep the 2 out the front and then expand that. So we're going to have x squared plus 2ab plus 6x plus 9, and then expand through. Now, because of this, and students sometimes making the error of expanding, of putting that 2 in a bracket like in P, I would just expand the brackets first and then multiply in that 2. Okay, so just be wary not to make that mistake. All right, let's do question 9, and then it'll be the last one. So question 9, let's do D. You should be able to do. All we've got is 2 quadratics. So we're going to expand the 2 set and then bring our like terms together. So we've got y minus 7, y plus 4, plus y plus 5, y minus 3. So you're just going to expand these separately. So y times y is y squared. Then we've got 4y minus 7y, so negative 3y. Negative 7 times 4, negative 28. Then our second one, just be careful. If there was a minus sign there, you should really put brackets in, okay, because that negative applies to everything. All right, so y times y is y squared. Y, negative 3 plus 2, 2y, and negative 15. All right, so we've got some like terms here. So we've got our y squares. How many have we got? We've got 2. We've now got negative 3y plus 2y, so that's just minus 1y. And then we've got negative 28 minus 15. So negative 38, negative 43. Okay, so just doing them both separately and then bringing your like terms together. All right, girls. Bye.